Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you to the 30th Joy of Painting series. If this is your first time with us, please allow me to extend a personal invitation for you to join us each show here as we take some big, unorthodox brushes and about a dozen colors, and I'll show you step by step how to paint some beautiful little paintings very easy. And if you've been with us before, please allow me to thank you for inviting us back for another series of painting shows. Tell you what, let's start out today and have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with us. While they're doing that, let me show you what I've got done up here. I have an old 18 by 24 inch pre-stretched double prime canvas, but you use any size that's convenient. And I've taken today a little bit of contact paper, just cut an oval out of it and stuck it right on the canvas. Then we've taken a little bit of gray and black gesso and just painted a little design using an old liner brush, and all of this is done with a natural sponge. I just took a sponge and just sort of gobbed like that. Very easy, just take a sponge. I use a natural sponge because it has a lot of little different things in it. Man-made sponges are too symmetrical. So just gob it on like that and then let it dry. Then we've covered the entire canvas with a very thin coat of liquid clear. And the clear is on there just to make it slick because this is a wet-on-wet painting technique. So I tell you what, let's just take off and do it. I'm going to start today with a little bit of yellow ochre. Now these are oil paints, so they're fantastic. A little yellow ochre on the 2-inch brush, like so. Just put a little on there. Let's go up right up here. And we can go up in here, and I'm just going to take the yellow ochre, and we just paint the sky right over the top of the gesso. Don't worry about it. Just paint right over it. The ochre is transparent enough that we'll still see all of our little designs and little tree indications back there. And that's really all we're doing. It's just covering it. That easy. There. See? Easiest thing in the world. As I say, this is a painting technique that even if you've never painted, you can do. Absolutely can do. We try to make it as simple and as easy as it can be. We've designed tools and different colors here that make this painting technique work for anyone. All right. And basically, we've just covered the entire canvas with a little bit of the yellow ochre. Now, it's mixing with the liquid clear that's on there, and it just slides on very easy. All right, let's make us a color. I think today, I'm going to make a brown out of, we'll use sap green and alizarin crimson. The two together make a gorgeous brown. Very pretty. And I'm going to mix it a little bit to the reddish side. You can go to the green side or the red side. It's up to you. It's up to you. I'm going a little to the reddish side today, though. Okay. Let me just wipe the old knife on a paper towel. And we'll be in business. I just use the same old dirty brush. It seems to be working okay. We'll go right into a little bit of that brown that we made. Once again, sap green and alizarin crimson. Okay. Now, I'm going to start on the outside and begin using little crisscross strokes, little X's. Begin blending that color inward. Ooh, isn't that gorgeous already? Those colors just go together so well. So well. A little more paint on the brush, and off we'll go. Now, if you've painted with me before, you know that we don't make mistakes here. All we do is have happy accidents. And all that means is that we learn very quickly to work with anything that happens in this style of painting. There's no right, there's no wrong. We only want to make paintings that are very happy, very simple, and that, once again, that you can do. Shoot, painting's no fun if you can't do it. All right. Maybe a little touch more over in here. And we're not trying to teach you to copy here. We want to teach you how to create certain effects, certain illusions, and turn you loose on the world, because each and every one of us will see nature through different eyes, and what you see is what you should paint. All right, let's wash the brush. That's the most fun part of the whole technique. Since these are oils, we wash our brush with odorless paint thinner. We'll shake off the excess and just beat the devil. That really is the fun part. All right, I want to take a little bit of titanium white, just a little bit, right on the corner of the brush. Just tap a little bit in there, like so. Okay, now we have titanium white just on one corner. I'm going to put the indication of a light source up in the sky. So decide where it lives And we'll start right there and begin working, like so. Just start working it outward. We want that to be the brightest area in the painting. Now, titanium white is opaque. Can't see through it. But if you put it on thin enough and it mixes with the yellow ochre that's already on there in the clear, it'll be transparent enough that we can still see our little trees and all the little indications that we put on there with the black and the gray gesso. About like it. But already, doesn't that make a beautiful effect? It looks like the sun's just burning through there. I like to get up early in the morning and walk through the woods when the sun's just beginning to come up, and it shines through the trees. I think it's one of the most beautiful times of the day. All the little animals are out looking for breakfast. And I hunt with a camera. I go out in the woods with my camera, take pictures of scenes and all the little critters. All right. Something about like it. And you blend it to any degree of brightness that you want. Once again, it's totally and completely up to you. There. But doesn't that look like the sun right there that's just shining? You can almost see rays already coming right through. That black gesso is fantastic. It just opens the doors to so many avenues of creation. I like to get you excited with these things and turn you loose. And it's unreal what you can do. Let's take some black. Midnight black. Get a little sap green, a little alizarin crimson. We'll just mix them together here. Put some Van Dyke brown in there too. What the heck? Doesn't matter. Good dark color. All right. Now I want to begin creating the illusion of foliage that's growing all back here in the woods. Things that are closer to us. We'll see more detail in these. We'll go right into that dark color we made. But just give the brush a little push right there. That's all. Now then, I'm going to use these dark areas that we put in there with the gesso, but I'm just going to take the corner of the brush and begin designing all kind of little trees and happy little things that live here in our world. All of our little critters have got to have a place to hide, a place where they feel safe. And this is it. This is it. But you could do this with a 1-inch brush or the 2-inch brush. It doesn't matter. Just whatever feels comfortable for you. There we are. Oh, 1-inch brush works just as well. Okay, something about like that. See, down here we have the black gesso. We don't even have to worry about it. Let's go on the other side. Yeah, we don't want it left out. Maybe just sort of look at your painting, and each painting that you do will be unique and different. So when you're painting, don't just try to copy. Shoot, that's no fun. Do your own thing. We just really want to teach you how to do it. There. Something about like that. I like to have these old hangy down bushes. Just sort of hang around, have a good time all their life. There we are. Now then, I'm going to take the old script liner brush. We'll take a little white, a little bit of brown, mix it together. I want to make this paint very thin. That's the reason I've put the paint thinner with it. Very thin. Let's go up in here, and here, and there, and there, and here. We'll put in indication of a few little tree trunks. Now, one of our golden rules, a thin paint will stick to a thick paint. The first layer of paint we put up here is very thick. Our oils are unique. They're very dry. They're very, very firm. So by having a firm paint on the canvas, then we can take layers of thinner paint and paint right over the top of it without them mixing together. You know how it is to become a mud mixer. If you've painted, you've mixed a little mud in your life. I like this because it allows you to actually paint while it's all wet. You can see a vision in your mind and put it on canvas before it escapes. There we go. Just a few little limbs and sticks. We're going to put leaves on these little bushes, so some of them will go away. All right. Now then, tell you what, there's a 2-inch brush, not too dirty. We'll take a little black, go right into that yellow, makes a beautiful green. Something like so. Let me grab some sap green on there. Yeah, I like that. I have cadmium yellow here, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, there it is, and a little bright red. I'm going to use all of these colors in varying amounts, and we'll paint the foliage with those. All right, let's go right up in here. Once again, you could use a 1-inch brush just as easy. Today I thought I would just use an old 2-inch brush. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's up to you. Sometimes you're a little more comfortable with a smaller brush, but either one will work. Either one will work. Sometimes this old big brush sort of scares you just because of its size. Whoops. Put a little more paint on there. There. But don't be afraid of it. Shoot. You know, in oil painting, what's so great about it? You really can, you can work on it for several days. It'll stay wet on the canvas for several days. And if you don't like something, you know, all you got to do is take the knife, zip it right off, and do it again. There are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. Only a few little happy accidents now and then. I'm trying to make this color a little bit darker back in here. In my mind, it's not going to be as much light back in here. It's going to start getting darker and darker back in. There. Besides that, all my little animal friends, they need a little place to hide that's quiet and secure, and that looks like it right there. Maybe in this series, maybe I'll show you a new little squirrel that I'm raising. If you've painted with me before, you know I'm a sort of an animal nut. It's an understatement of the month, isn't it? But I've got a new little squirrel. I call him Peapod Jr. because Peapod was a little squirrel that lived with me for quite a while. And he used to live in my pocket. He liked to stay in my pocket and sleep. And so does this one. So we call him Peapod Jr. There we are. All right. A little more paint on the brush. But just put in the indication of all these little leaves. Think about shape and design. Don't just hit it random. I know it looks like you get carried away and just sock it in wherever. Think about clumps, little patterns that grow in trees and bushes. There's a limb back here where all this is attached. Think about how it would flow. There. All right. And maybe down in here, there's another one. It's up to you. You decide where, how many, what color. It's what's so great about painting. You make the decisions. On this piece of canvas, you literally have unlimited power. Shoot, when I go home, I don't have any power or anything but the garbage. It sits there and waits on me to take it out. But here, here I can move rivers. I can change mountains. And so can you. All right, let's go on the other side over here and paint some of that. It's getting jealous. I want to add the least little touch of paint thinner to my brush, just to thin it down. There. Remember this golden rule. Thin paint will stick to a thick paint. So always try to keep thickest paint on first. If you'll do that, you probably won't have any problems. There we are. You know, it's nice. This is the 30th Joy of Painting series. Almost unbelievable. There's 13 shows in each series. It means there's nearly 400 shows. And here where we filmed the show, they gave me a big party to celebrate the 30th Joy of Painting series, and well over 200 of our friends came. It was so very nice. So very nice to know that so many people care and would take the time to wish us well. There we are. Just little bushes there. I see something. I know I get a little crazy, but that's okay. It's our world. We can do that. I'm going to take some liquid white, a little bit of titanium white, mix them together just to thin the paint. That's the only reason. Little phthalo blue. Just a little touch. There we are. So we have liquid white, titanium white, and a touch of phthalo blue. Let's go up in here. In my world, I see something right here. As you paint, you begin to see things. Watch. Maybe right here is a little watery fall. It just sort of zip and falls over. There it comes, hits down here and splashes. There. Isn't that cute? Just a little watery fall out here in the woods. And maybe it just slides right along in here. La la. Comes right on along wherever you want it to go. What's that old saying? It helps to be crazy or something? There. Maybe there's a little bloop right there. Just let your imagination take you to any world that you want to go to. Because you can do that. You really and truly can do that. It's sort of nice. You can escape from reality once in a while. Sometimes it's nice just to create your own world and sort of slip off into it. And painting sort of allows me to do that. A lot of people paint for that very reason. There we go. Now we have a little watery fall. Lives right there. We need something to contain it. Right now it's just sort of hanging loose. Let's clean off a little spot to work. We'll take Midnight Black, Van Dyke Brown, a little dark cyan at it. Just mix them together. Okay, I'm gonna go over here and get some paint thinner and thin this paint down. Just take paint thinner and put in it. Just to thin it down. I'm just using a knife to dip in that old paint thinner bucket. Just like so, we'll thin that down. And over here, I'm gonna take a little touch of we'll use a little liquid white. I'm gonna put a little black and brown in it. I want a thin, light color too. There we are, maybe a little more black in there. Ooh, I like that. Just sort of get it to whatever flavor you want it to be. Okay, now then wipe the knife. I'm gonna find a filbert brush, number 6 filbert brush. I'm gonna take it through this thin, dark color, both sides, right through that thin color. Now I'm gonna take one side and go through the light color. So now we got light on one side, dark on the other. Sneaky, huh? Now we can come right up in here and in one stroke, we can paint some nice little rocks. Nice little rocks that sort of hold this waterfall in, keep it from getting away. Nothing worse than a waterfall that's got away on you. And maybe there's several little stones and rocks and things that live in there. You decide. And you put them wherever you think they should live. It's totally and completely up to you. Going back to my brush, it's got the blue watercolor on it, and just sort of clean up the little foots on these stones so they fit. All right. You know, if you've painted with me before, you know I have an obsession with large trees. It gets me in trouble sometime. But I think I need a big tree in this painting. Take black, Van Dyke Brown. We just mix them. I got a number 3 fan brush. Let's go up in here. Okay, this is your bravery test. I'm gonna start right here and go and make a big old gnarly tree. Lives right there. There he is, big tree. Maybe he's got a big root off the bottom. It hangs over like so, wherever. Maybe there's an arm up here that just reaches up to the sky. Big old arm on this tree. Just wherever. Shoot, we'll have an arm over here too. It doesn't matter. Trees grow every which way imaginable. Certain kinds of trees have certain basic shapes. But other than that, they just grow however. Trees are free. I'm going to take the script liner brush, some paint thinner. We'll thin the paint down till it's literally almost like ink. Turn the bristles. It brings it to a nice sharp point. See there? Nice and sharp. And we can go up in here and we can begin picking out little arms and limbs. Maybe here's an old dead limb. Yep, right there. He just hangs around. We can put as many as we want. If you have enough paint thinner though, it'll just slide right over the top of all that without any problem. There. And you decide how many arms are on your tree. It's really up to you. I know you get tired of hearing me say that, but I think painting is such an individual thing that we really want people to learn to just paint what they feel, what they want to see, not what somebody tells you you have to paint. There are no rules. The only rule is Painting should make you happy. You should enjoy it. Enough bad stuff in the world. Shoot, painting should be fun. I'm going to take my knife, get a little white. We'll put a little black in it, make a gray color. About like that. That's a nice gray. Cut off a little roll of paint. We'll go right up in here. And maybe we'll just put the indication of a little highlight that lives right along the edge of this tree. See? Just put it on like that. Blend it back. Just something like that. Wherever. There you go. There. Over in here, a little bit of dark color. Just sort of let them work together so it looks like bark. Just growing like that. Very easy to do. Now you could take your liner brush and whatever, and you could make bark with it. Shoot, sometime I make it with a filbert. It just depends on what kind of effect you're after, what your mood is that particular day. Doesn't much matter. Painting, once again, is nothing but games of illusions, and you should create the kind of illusions that make you happy. All right, let's get crazy. Yeah, let's take some black, little sap green, mix it together. This tree needs some hair on it, like I have. Some nice leaves. There we go. There they go. See them? Just a few little happy leaves that live up here on this tree. Something about like that. There we are. All right. Let me grab my other 2-inch brush that we were using to make the little leaves and bushes. Put some sap green. I want this quite dark. Quite a bit of sap green in there. Quite dark though. Just tap like so. Let's go up in here. And let's put the indication of a few highlights right up on that old tree. Just a few. A little more color on the brush. There. Just think about basic shape. That's all we're looking for. And once again, I want this to stay quite dark. I don't want it to distract the eye to the top of the canvas. I want your eye to go right there when you look at this. There we go. About like so. And that's pretty good for our little tree. Put too much, it'll get too distracting. We don't want that. Little grassy areas right in here. Just sort of bring it all together. There we are. Once again, you could use the 1-inch brush just as well to create all these little effects. Doesn't much matter. Either one works and works equally good. A little bit of paint thinner. You can put a little stick and twig here and there. You just decide where they live and put some in. It's nice to have a few of these things in there. They showed different planes in your painting. All right, maybe even over here, a couple little ones. Okay, I think we're down to the moment of truth. Let's take the contact paper off and find out what we have. This is always exciting when you remove the contact paper and you look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous little thing? This is something, though, that is just, it's a marvelous gift to give people, and they can't figure out how you paint it around painting on your canvas. Let's take a little paint thinner, a little bit of the bright red, and we'll sign this little rascal. Now, I always sign with bright red, but you sign with any color that makes you happy. Once again, I'm going to get this as thin as ink. It's really, really thin there, see? And work the bristles in. There we go. Let's go right up in here, and we'll sign this little rascal maybe right there. Up to you. Really hope you've enjoyed this little painting, and I hope you try it, because it'll bring you a lot of pleasure, and it's not that difficult to do. If you do it, if you have a moment, take a picture and send to us. We'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to see what you're doing. Until next time, from all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting, and God bless, my friend.